Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Stats. I'm your host, Isaac, and welcome to the pre-Week 8 edition of the Power Rankings, Predictions, and Game Rankings from last week for the 2025 NFL season. So, I've liked the style that we've done it, where we start with the game rankings, kind of do like a little recap of the week, and then we go into power rankings and then predictions. So we're going to do that. So there were 15 games this week because Buffalo and Baltimore were on bye. And of those, I think that the worst game was Carolina versus the Jets. Lowest scoring game of the week. Only one touchdown scored in total, and 6 points scored in the second half. It was really just a boring game, all things considered. It's the Jets. What are you going to expect from a game that involves the Jets just in general? So not much to expect there, even below some of the blowouts, because at least the blowouts had some entertaining stuff by some teams. Like most of the teams that got blown out scored at least as many points as the Panthers did. One team that did not score as many points as the Panthers did is Miami in their blowout against Cleveland. That's the 14th ranked game, and I just thought that's the game that I'm putting out of the blowouts. That's the one I'm going to put the lowest, just because Miami is just they're like crumbling before our eyes. It's tragic to see what's happened in Miami, ever since Tyreek Hill left. Tua, this is the end of his starting career, honestly. This is the last year that he's a starter for Miami, or really anyone, I think. I don't know if it's the concussions or what that's taking a toll on him, but when he's, he can be good, and we know that he can be good. It's just, right now, he doesn't have a great supporting cast. I mean, Achane's good, but, Achane isn't helping him in the pass game all that much. Darren Waller and Jalen Waddle are good. He's just not making good throws. He's he's throwing 3 picks. You can't throw 3 picks and win. Unless you're Jared Goff last year against the Texans. Either way, Cleveland, still an impressive win. I don't think this means that they're good, but impressive win nonetheless. So I'll give it to them on that. Number 13, I have probably the most one-sided game of the week, but I still put it up here because, you love to see it. Kansas City versus Las Vegas, 31-0. Everybody's got to eat. The Chiefs offense is back, and it's cooking, and the Raiders were not able to score a single point. The Chiefs had as many first downs as the Chiefs had, the Chiefs had as many first downs as the Raiders had total offensive plays, which is ridiculous. And that's with the starters getting pulled before the fourth quarter even started. The Chiefs offense is back, and all the NFL fans are going to have to deal with it. Everybody, the ball was being spread around a lot to the Chiefs as well. I think the leading receiver on the Raiders, Trey Tucker, had 33 yards, and the Chiefs had 6 players with 35 receiving yards or more. 35 or more. That was the lowest. Because we had Kelsey, we had Rice, Thornton had 1 catch for 35. Worthy and Juju both had 35, and then I think Brashard Smith had more as well because of the end of the game. So yeah, other than that, that's all I'm gonna say for the Chiefs right now. We'll get more to them in the power rankings, but yeah, one-sided. Raiders, at least they have Pete Carroll. I'll give them that, but Geno is not the answer there. Even with Pete Carroll coaching him, I don't think they're a good team. I think you can get a new coach, you can get a new quarterback, but ultimately the team is still the same. And something's got to change in Las Vegas. I almost said Oakland, bruh. Number 12, I'm going with another shutout, or another blowout, but one that I thought was just a little bit more entertaining. And that was the London game, Rams-Jaguars. I don't remember the last time the Jags lost that bad in London. But Stafford threw 5 touchdown passes, which is very fun to see. I think Devontae Adams caught 3 of them. So having a game that proves that he's still a wide receiver 1 on half the teams in the league, and yet he's the Rams wide receiver 2. And I think it kind of proves, I think Rams have the best wide receiver duo in the league now. They passed up the Bengals after a long reign at the top. I think Chase and Higgins have been usurped by Puka and Adams. Now, hopefully Puka can come back and actually be able to make that duo a duo. But regardless, they're still able to beat Jacksonville pretty convincingly. and that will affect them greatly in the power rankings. Number 11, we have a game that honestly is closer than one would think, but like honestly, there was nothing interesting about this game. This is just the most vanilla, bland, boring game of all time, and that's Atlanta San Francisco. Like, Atlanta's so confusing. They can go from having like an insane upset of the Bills to whatever that was. Like, Atlanta's the weirdest team to place in the power rankings every week. And you know, honestly, who the second weirdest team to place is? 49ers, because they're super injured and yet they're still doing well because Christian McCaffrey's insane. Yeah, just a game that didn't really have any standout moments. 20-10, super basic final score. Like, nothing interesting happened. A score that's a little less conventional, mostly because it's just higher scoring, is Indianapolis and the Chargers, which, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, was 38-24. Pretty good, convincing win from the Colts, but either way, the Chargers weren't really in it for the most part. Like, it was like 26-3 or something at one point. Yeah, either way, Colts dominant win over the Chargers, and I think this shows both that the Chargers are worse than we thought they were and that the Colts are better than like we thought they were. I mean, they're going to keep going up, and if they are who we think they are, they're going to stay up there. But honestly, I don't think they are who a lot of people are thinking they are. I think Daniel Jones is having a season like he did in 2022, I want to say, that one year when he was good. But, like, I don't know if I trust it going forward. I feel like it's going to be sort of a deal where it's like the 2020 Steelers, where they start off really well and then eventually they hit a wall. I don't know. I don't see them continuing like this forever. I mean, as long as Jonathan Taylor is doing good, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. But, like, at some point, there's going to be a team that can stop them. And we've seen the Rams can, but, like, who else is going to be? I think they're the only team with one loss at this point. Unless I'm missing something glaring. Yeah, they're the only team. They got the best record in the league. Like, it's ridiculous. Either way, number 9, I'm going to go with New Orleans, Chicago. Another game between teams that don't really matter all that much. New Orleans isn't making the playoffs, and Chicago's just kind of there. I mean, another kind of run-of-the-mill game with not much interesting happening. I can't even remember a specific moment from this play. It was like 26-14, something like that. Yeah. Let's see here. Three interceptions from Spencer Rattler. 2 touchdowns from Chris Olave. Very nice, very nice. Well, the Bears scored the first 20 points, so that's interesting. The Saints almost came back into it, but not really. So, yeah, this is another game where not much happened. Honestly, I might put this one below now that I'm looking back at it, but too late now. Number 8, I've got Houston-Seattle. Yet another game where, like, the final score was within 8 points. It was a one-score, like, final score, but, like, it wasn't really close throughout. It wasn't, like, one of those games that went back and forth. Like, Seattle was in control for most of the game. And, yeah, I think just another one of those games that is kind of one-sided. There were a lot of them this week. There were a couple good games, but like a lot of not so great, like super fun to watch games, and I think Houston-Seattle is one of them. But Seattle did what needed to be done against the top-ranked defense, so impressive for them. I will say, I think I ranked them a little too high in the power rankings last week, so they are going to go down despite the win, because I ranked them 2 last week. Next, number 7, the 7th-ranked game, now into the top half, is New England, Tennessee, which is only this high because Tennessee was actually leading for the first little bit of the game. It was still a final score in heavy favor of New England, but, you know, Tennessee was in the lead after with a minute 48 to go in the first half. Yeah. I mean, Drake May had a good game, and other than the weird fumble thing that happened in the third quarter, Cam Ward played all right. Kamir Dike had a kind of outstanding game, or at least a breakout game, as much as a breakout game as you're going to get on that offense. But then no points in the fourth quarter kind of made it not too great, so moving it down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, there's not a really good baseline for this week, but either way, as you can see by the number 6 game being Tampa Bay Detroit, which, I mean, a combined total score that low, being number 6, is kind of depressing. The only reason I'm putting it this high, honestly, is because of Jahmyr Gibbs' 78-yard touchdown run. Like, that was sick. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. He's my favorite player that's not a Chief in the league right now, probably. And, I mean, he's the closest thing to this guy that we got. So, I mean, love to see him rattling off those big touchdown runs. Unfortunate game for Baker Mayfield. I don't know how many picks he threw, but I do know that people are now rightly calling Mahomes the MVP favorite. Okay, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I mean, it's not like he did bad. Jahmyr Gibbs, 2 TDs. Dude, Jahmyr Gibbs almost saved me in fantasy. Like, I almost won. I was so down behind because I had, like, Justin Jefferson, Brian Thomas Jr., who else did I have? Travis Kelce, because Travis Kelce been backup tight end because I have Brock Bowers as my other one, but he's injured. I got, like, Texans defense. They didn't do much. Cameron Dicker. Why can't I remember my team? Kyron Williams is my running back 2 right now because Bucky Irving's injured. And then I had Worthy at flex because I didn't think Rice was going to get that many targets coming off the bench. I mean, Worthy, he didn't do bad, but he underperformed. But yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs almost saved it. Like, it was crazy, but he didn't in the end, and I still lost. Alas. I mean, okay, I'm not good at fantasy football. This is my first time ever playing, and I don't really care, so there's that. Let's see here. Number 5, top 5 games. You know it's bad when the number 5 game is a game where, like, the winning team won by 22 points. The Dallas Commanders game, yes, Dallas Cowboys, Washington Commanders game. That one is, I think, honestly, is it the highest scoring game of the week? It might be. It might be up there. It's close. No, I don't think it is the highest scoring game of the week. Wait, no. Is it? Or is Colts Chargers more? No, clearly not, right? Yeah, okay, it is the highest scoring game by like 1 point. But yeah, I mean, you always like to see the safety. That's always nice when you get a score like 7-2. You don't like to see the Jaden Daniels injury. That's always unfortunate. Chiefs are facing Commanders next week. I mean, I would rather beat a healthy Commanders team than beat a team without Jaden Daniels. But I mean, yeah, I hope he's able to get back. Who was their backup? Was he injured near the end? Okay, Mariota. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So Commanders. I mean, it was an entertaining game throughout. Dallas scored 44 points, so had a pretty good offensive showing. The safety was nice. Jalen Lane actually led the Commanders in receiving yards, interestingly enough. The rookie who is usually returning stuff. But yeah, I mean, Washington kept up with them for the first half, and then the second half didn't go as well. Yeah, Washington kind of pulled away from it, or Dallas kind of pulled away with it at the end there. Either way, that's only the number 5 game. Number 4 is one of the 4 like close games, that being Philadelphia, Minnesota. And Philadelphia was really ahead on this one, but Minnesota almost made a comeback before Minnesota. Isaiah Rodgers just gifted them a first down at the very end of the game. They're like, bro kind of blew his coverage. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, people were overhyping him because he had that one insane game. People were like, oh, defensive player of the year. Kind of like Devin Lloyd. I'm like, yeah, people are having good games, but that doesn't mean they're going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Like, you got to keep that pace up for, like, a whole year, and, like, nobody's going to be able to do that. So, like, it's a excusable mistake, but, like, it did kind of lose them the game, so that's unfortunate. Either way, I mean, Minnesota did have a chance to knock off Philadelphia, which would have been nice, but alas, Philadelphia is back to their winning ways, unfortunately. Number 3, we have the late game that I watched, which was Packers-Cardinals, which was a good game to watch. Pretty close one. Cardinals had a chance, I will say. Like, their schedule isn't getting any easier, but they played well. They were leading, but Packers were able to come back a little bit there. They led with 9 minutes left, and then with near the end, with like under the 2-minute warning, Packers scored a touchdown, then ended up winning it, and then stopped the Cardinals. So a game that came down to the end, always nice to see, but Green Bay did end up winning. So my basic idea of a good game would be that I'd call Green Bay Arizona a good game. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I could look through previous weeks and see how many I would classify as like a good game. I mean, my definition of good game is arbitrary. Like, if you look at the number 3 game from last week, it was Chargers and Dolphins, which I think was a much better game. Detroit KC was number 5 last week. I'd say that was a good game. Arizona Indianapolis was number 6. That was a good game. San Francisco Tampa Bay, maybe not. So yeah, I think the top 6 would fit my definition of good games for last week. Number 2 is one of the 2 games to end on a last-second field goal, that being the first game of the week, Steelers-Bengals. The Unk Bowl, as they call it. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco. And, Joe Flacco was kind of insane. I was kind of clowning on him for, picking him because I was like, he's washed. He's not any better than Jake Browning, but apparently he is. Jamar Chase went insane again. Pittsburgh led for a little bit, and then I think, Bengals led at half. Then Pittsburgh came back a little, but Bengals mostly held the lead until right at the end when Steelers were able to recapture it, and then last second drive by Joe Flacco to win the game on a 36-yard field goal by Evan McPherson, 33-31. Good game for sure. But nothing compared to the number 1 game of the week. Definitely going to make a good spot in the top ranking all the best games in the week video. Giants Broncos. Oh, buddy. This is I think this is the first game this year that I would consider a major comeback. We went 3 quarters with no points by the Broncos, and then 33 points in a single quarter is ridiculous. And, honestly, I'm kind of scared because if Bo Nix can do that, I don't think he can do it whenever. He kind of got lucky. But, if you're able to do that, even if it's just against a Giants defense, they're a good team. I'm not going to, I put them high in the power rankings for a reason. And people are going to move them up a lot in my power rankings. But they're going to stay, kind of where they're at because they were already high. I was already, high on this team. I thought they were going to do good. And I was correct. They are doing good. And I don't like to see it, but, got to give them their respect where it's due. Field goals, time expired. Quick last-second drive with, 30 seconds left on the clock. It was, Mahomes-level madness. Either way, I don't know how the Giants allowed that to happen. Unfortunate for them. But it was never a game that they were supposed to be competitive in. But, I guess they beat the Eagles, so maybe people were expecting stuff, but I wouldn't have. Honestly, if the Giants had won, I don't even know where I'd put them in the power rankings. Maybe 15 or 16. I don't think they're good. I think they just have gotten lucky wins. Or I would definitely move Denver down a lot if they had lost, but I don't think I would move the Giants up into a top 10 spot. Either way, that's the number 1 game of the week. So now let's get into the power rankings. So I will bring out the whiteboard for this one. I'm not going to write down all the different numbers on the board like I did last time. I'm just going to write the team names mostly because I have not written the numbers and it would take a long time to write them. So I'm just going to write down the team names with how much they've changed. So first, at number 32, I think no surprise there, it's the Jets. They haven't changed, and they're not going to change until they win at this point. The only reason they're down here is because they haven't won, and also because they've lost to some of the worst teams in the league as well. They haven't played great competition, I'm not gonna lie. And then number 31, we've got Tennessee, who also has not changed. There was a big debate. I asked a lot of people who they thought was worse between the number 31 and 30 teams on the list. The number 31, or the number 30 being the Miami Dolphins here. But ultimately, I decided on Tennessee because I think Miami still has talent. They're just self-destructing generationally. They have the opportunity to be a team probably in the top 20, maybe even top half if we're being generous, but they're not doing it. They're really just not doing well. Unfortunate for them, but that's where they're at right now. Next, moving down 2 spots after a fairly uninteresting loss, New Orleans, the preseason favorite for the number 1 draft pick. Right now it's looking at the Jets, but honestly, before the season, I predicted Tennessee again, because honestly, they didn't really, other than Cam Ward, unless he was going to be a superstar quarterback, they didn't really get a lot of great talent, from the draft. I'm not going to lie. I can't name any really great players that they were able to pick up. unfortunately. Or at least any that would be like great game changers. And it's not like they had much to begin with. I think they were far and away the worst team last year, and I think honestly, I see them finishing down there again. Even as of now, even with the Jets at 0-7, it'll be an interesting one. Next, number 28, I have Las Vegas, more like Las Vegas. They getting blown out, getting shut out is not good. I do think they're better than the bottom 4 teams on this list, but other than that, like, I know it's the Chiefs, but at least put up a single point. Like, even if it's by a 1-point safety, I don't even really care at this point. Like, even if you do commit a 1-point safety, like, honestly, if anyone commits a 1-point safety, if there's a Super Bowl winning 1-point safety where the Browns beat the Lions, I don't even care. Like, that would be the greatest thing ever, even if it's the Browns winning the Super Bowl against the Lions. Like, I would not care at that point. I would have, I almost said Browns beating Chiefs, but that can't really happen. What is even my least favorite team in the NFC? I don't even really know. Maybe the Saints, because of Bounty Gate and whatever. I don't know. Either way, speaking of the Browns, they are going to be number 27, the first team to move up a spot after this last week. Impressive win, but again, it is against the Dolphins, who I think are kind of on another league as far as, like, patheticness. Like, the bottom 3 teams on that other league, and Cleveland is a league above them, but Cleveland's still not good, let's be real. Like, I don't know why we're letting Judkins play. But, like, I mean, when he's playing, he's been decent, unfortunately. Number 26, I've got Arizona. They haven't moved because they didn't really look any worse than they have in previous weeks, but, you know, you got to get wins in the win column in order to move up the rankings. And another team that hasn't gotten any wins, mostly because they were on a bye, is Baltimore. They're still a 1-win team, and unless that changes, they're going to stay down here in the bottom quarter of teams. Number 24, moving down 1 spot from last week, Minnesota. I think this is kind of proven. We need JJ McCarthy back, and we need to give him another shot, see if he can be the one that, like, leads this team to victory, because it ain't going to be Carson Wentz. Number 23, the first big mover of the day, moving up 7 spots, the Cincinnati Bengals. They have a quarterback who isn't Jake Browning. Let's go. And because of that, I think they will now be a team that wins, like, 6 games instead of, like, 2. I mean, they're at 3 wins right now, so, I mean, they're halfway there, but, like, the season's already almost half over, and I don't think they're going to stay as good as they have been. I don't know. Maybe they win, like, 7 games, but, like, they're not making the playoffs, bro. It ain't going to happen. I don't care. I don't care, like, how much, like, luck Joe Flacco has when he joins a new team. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, I will be happy to eat my own words. Actually, I won't be happy, but I will gladly. I will admit that I was wrong, but I don't think I will be. Number 22, after a performance that wasn't really, like, you see the performance, you wouldn't think they would move down 4 spots, but Houston does, mostly because of people, like, moving up. Actually, is that the case? No, not really. They kind of just moved down. No. Yeah. I mean, who do you put below them, like, that hasn't been done yet? They're only a 2-win team as far as I'm aware. They had a bye week, I'm pretty sure, so they're 2-4. What? I did not click on that game. What? Bro, the freaking computer's breaking. Texans, Seahawks. Yeah, they are 2-4. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, not much else to say about them. A team that has more than 2 wins, I think. I can't keep track of everybody's records. I think Washington has 3 wins. Or maybe not, because they lost to the Bears. No, they have 3 wins, right? Yeah, because I ranked them in my playoff, like, predictions at one point. So they must have been doing at least decently at that point, I would think. Commanders, Cowboys. Yeah, they're 3-4. So either way, though, moving down 5 spots, mostly because of the loss of number 5. I don't think from what the report said, it doesn't look like he would be out any more than just 1 week. But as of right now, providing he is out, that's still -5. And even if he isn't, they haven't looked amazing. I will give credit to Krosky Merritt. He's been looking solid. Kind of the revolution of 7th round running backs is this year. Like, we've had Krosky Merritt, he's 7th round, I believe. There's one other guy who's like doing good as a 7th rounder, and I'm not thinking of who it is. I know there's another guy. One other guy is Brashard Smith. Like, he's doing good, but like there's a third guy. I don't know. Either way, number 20 is the most confusing team in the league right now. Atlanta. I don't know what to make of them. That's about it. I need a bigger sample size. Like, Atlanta's just like a data set that is too small. There's too many weird, wild variables for me to consider them. A team that I finally get to rank as low as I think they should have been ranked all along, the Chargers at number 19, moving down 5 spots. They are not a good football team. I think I've said it. There you go. I don't think they should be as good as they are. I mean, most of it is the loss of their like tackles, but I think Justin Herbert's back down to earth. He's no longer like a real MVP candidate. He did throw for 420 yards and 3 touchdowns, so I mean that was good, but like also 2 interceptions, which isn't great. Either way, you gotta win games, and right now they're like 1 for 4 in their last couple, because they started off 3-0, right? I want to say, yeah, because they beat the Dolphins, then they lost to the Commanders and Giants. So like they've been outscored pretty significantly, and their only win was a 2-point win against the Dolphins. So across the last 4 weeks, Chargers have not been doing great. So that's where they're going to rank right now. Unless they get another good solid win, they're going to stay in that kind of range. And a team that I was able to move above them because they did beat them, and they had an impressive game this week despite losing. I'm putting the Giants up here. I think if the Giants had won that game, they would go up even more to like 15 or 14. But fact is, they didn't win. But they were able to prove that they're like at least a functional team. They're not just like someone who's gotten lucky. Like, they can put up a decent performance against a pretty good team in Denver. I still don't think they're a top half team as of right now, though. So I'm keeping them there at 18. Number 17 is another really weird team that kind of seems to go on and off with their losses and wins. It's Dallas, moving up 2 spots. Good win. I think their offense is keeping on cooking, and I think they could be primed for a moving up in the rankings. But for now, I'm going to put most teams, and specifically, I'm putting the Panthers above them at 16 just because the Panthers beat them last week. Panthers were able to get a win against a pretty defenseless Jets team. I would think for a team in the top half, you would stick it to them a little bit better, but, that's just me. Either way, Carolina beat Dallas, and right now they're doing okay. And again, they beat Atlanta. They shut them out, so I'm putting them above them for now. Carolina and New York is an interesting argument, but yeah, that sort of middle range of teams will be sorted out more as the season progresses. Number 15, I've got Jacksonville moving down 5 spots. I still think they're a good team, and the more time passes, the more I'm thinking, yeah, the Colts are probably going to win the AFC South, but like I still think Jacksonville is a shot. I want to say they're 4-3. Yeah, they're 4-3, so they still got a winning record. They're not too far behind, and I think Indianapolis has been known for choking, specifically against the Jaguars, so I think there's a chance that something like that happens. I don't know what the stat is. Maybe it got broken last year, but I know there was a thing where it's like Indianapolis lost like a certain number of home games against Jacksonville or something. I don't know. I feel like there was something like that where they kept throwing their home games when they had to play Jacksonville. Either way, another team that I think is doing pretty okay right now, only moving up 1 spot. We got Chicago. They're kind of a middle team. I think they're in my playoff picture right currently now for the NFC. But again, that could change very much, certainly in the future. If I just look at teams here, Maybe they aren't. No, they're not actually in my playoff picture as far as power rankings go. Close one though. And then we have another very confusing team, but I'm gonna give them their flowers. They're able to win games even with all the injuries. San Francisco is moving up 8 spots, and they're gonna be at number 13. They are a contender as long as Christian McCaffrey can play. And you know what? Even this team is good enough that even with a million injuries, they are still like a really decent team. And I can't shy away from that anymore. I'm putting them in the top spot. And even then, they still only get the 7th seed in like predictions for the AFC. I mean, if I'm looking at the AFC predictions here, and I think, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So the lowest AFC team that's currently in the playoff predictions as far as like rankings go is Jacksonville. They have the number 7 right now according to Power Rankings. But again, the playoff predictions is something I think I'll do again maybe like 2/3 of the way into the season. Maybe I don't know if I'll do it the next time I do like a special video, because as I said in the last video, there won't be a video on Saturday because I'll be out of town. So the next video after this is just going to be another video of this style, the pre-week 9 edition of this. And then the video after that will be something new. We'll figure out what that is when we come to it, but that could be a playoff prediction. We'll see. Either way, number 12 right now is the team that I think, I mean, it's hard for me to tell right now. I still don't think they're going to win the AFC North, but Pittsburgh's here for now, moving down 1 spot. If the Bengals somehow win, I'm going to be so mad. It's going to be so weird, too. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. Pittsburgh better win. I hope. I mean, part of me doesn't want Baltimore to win, because if they do, like, they're going to have to be, like, really hot at the time of doing it. They're going to have to like win a lot of games in a row and be a dangerous team coming into the playoffs that you don't want to face. But I also like Baltimore more than I like any of the other teams in the AFC North, especially the Bengals and Browns. But like Browns aren't going to win it, let's be real. But especially the Bengals. Like, I'd rather Baltimore make it because I actually like Baltimore as a team. And at least with Pittsburgh, you got like, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers. He's cool, I guess. But, Bengals, no. They're no good. As a Chiefs fan, no. Yeah. But I still think as of right now, Pittsburgh is on the way to winning it. I still think I might pick Baltimore. I mean, honestly, it depends if Lamar plays this next week. Because if he doesn't, they're going to go to 1-6, and they're going to be even more cooked. Yeah, either way, Pittsburgh right now, number 12. Number 11 is a very interesting team. I don't know really what happened to them. I mean, they were on a bye week this week, but they still fell 2 spots. Buffalo. I mean, you have to put them below some of these teams. They just haven't looked impressive across the last 2 weeks, and they haven't had a really impressive win since like week 4. I mean, actually, who do they even play week 4? I mean, we can see here. Because they lost to the Falcons last week, and then they lost to the Patriots the previous week to end their winning streak. I mean, they beat the Saints in a not super impressive one, and then beat the Dolphins. I mean, Dolphins played them closer than they have some other teams. And then, yeah, Saints, Dolphins, Jets are who they've beaten since week 1. Like, their week 1 win was amazing, super impressive. But, like, since then, they have beaten 3 of the bottom 4 teams in the league. They have yet to beat a really great team since week 1. And even that's debatable because the Ravens, we don't know at this point. Like, I don't know. They need to put up a really solid performance. I think, who are they playing next week? They get another easy break. They're playing the Panthers. I mean, it's harder than Saints, Dolphins, Jets, but I don't know. And maybe in 2 weeks, they play the Chiefs. So that is their real test. Honestly, depending on how they do next week, I might actually pick the Chiefs to win. Like, the Chiefs have played the Bills in the regular season, like, the last 7 years in a row. And I think the last 3 times I've picked the Bills, and the Bills have won every single time. It's been great. I've picked the right team because the Chiefs never beat them in the regular season. But I've also picked them every single time in I've also picked the Chiefs every single time in the playoffs, and they have won every single time in the playoffs, so that's good. Yeah. Either way. Yeah, Buffalo's outside of the top 10 right now. What can you do? But a team that has beaten them, that is inside the top 10 now, is New England. doing what they need to do against Tennessee. Drake May proving that he is a upper echelon QB, definitely top half, I think, at this point he's proven. I don't know about top 10, but it's close, maybe, as of right now. But yeah, not much else to say about them leading the AFC East. I don't think they'll win it. I still think Buffalo is going to come back and win it, but we'll see. Next, what do we have? We have number 9, which is a team that I think I ranked a little bit too low last week, and that's Philadelphia. Maybe it's just because of the awful Giants loss, but, like, they're still who they were. Maybe Saquon isn't having as great of a season, but, like, Jalen Hurts just posted, like, his best passing game of his career. So, like, he's got to do they got to move up a little bit. Like, their offense is still going to click. It's going to find a way. The defense is still great. And even though they almost let the Vikings come back, they didn't. They put the game away, and that is what good teams do. So they're number 9. Number 8, we have Green Bay. I think they moved down my one spot. I think this is one team that I could see someone putting them in their top 5. Right now, I think the defense needs to step up a little bit to what it was in the first couple weeks, and then I'll put him up there. Micah Parsons had his first really, truly great game as a Packer. I don't think he's, like, absolute, like, best defensive lineman or, like, linebacker. What even does he play? I don't know. He plays everything. He's like TJ Watt. Like, I don't think he's a top, like, starting first-team All-Pro guy in the league right now. He could very well be at season's end if this offense starts to click, or this defense starts to click again and be great. Also, the offense, I mean, Tucker Kraft is great, but you need to get some more involvement from the receivers and the running backs. Who even is their running back? It's Josh Jacobs. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, but their receivers, specifically, give me Matthew Golden. Get him more involved, you know? Worthy's teammate. You gotta love him. Imagine being like a quarterback and your receivers are named Worthy and Golden. Like, that's the sickest wide receiver duo name of all time. Like, bruh. Either way, yeah, Green Bay, good game this week, even though they almost lost to Arizona. They didn't. Again, they were able to win, and that is what good teams do. So, number 7, we have Denver, who actually is moving down a spot despite the impressive win. And that's mostly just because I had to make room for a team going up. I don't think I would have moved them down, really. They almost did lose to the Giants, but they didn't lose. They found a way to win, which is what good teams do. But, you know, they could have looked better, is all I'm saying. They looked good in the fourth, but, like, you got to play a full 4 quarters of football in order to be, like, the best team in the league. So I'm not going to move them down because they still had an amazing, like, fourth quarter, but I'm also not going to move them up because the first 3 quarters weren't pretty. Number 6 is the team that I think I put a little too high last week. Put Seattle at number 2. They're moving down 4 spots. I'm still putting them below Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is going to be number 5, by the way. But yeah, Seattle and Tampa Bay, I think, are 2 very evenly matched teams, as we saw from their game. Tampa Bay at number 5, both moving down 4 spots because I think they're still pretty evenly matched. I just think we may have rated them a little bit too high, and some teams just had some off games last week, or the week before, so they took their opportunity to have a moment in the sun at first place. I want to see how many different teams have been at number 1 this year, because there's quite a few. I mean, you've got your Eagles, because the Eagles were top 1. I mean, I guess I could... Oh, wait, I can't check on my phone because I'm recording with my phone. Either way, because through week 4, it was the Eagles, and then going into week 5, it was the Eagles, and then going into week 6, I think I put the Lions up there, and going into week 7, I had the Buccaneers up there. And then going into week 8, we obviously have a different team. Or not obviously, but we do have a different team because Detroit is now number 4. Moving up 4 spots, I think I moved them down a little too much after the loss last week. They're still a great team. They still have a top 5 offense in the league and a pretty solid defense as well, holding who was considered the MVP candidate to only, like, 1 touchdown. And even with a secondary that is still not at full strength, Detroit did really decently, and good for them for sure. They're still going to be a dominant force in the NFC. I still think they take home the NFC North and make a deep run in the playoffs and hopefully meet the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And speaking of the Chiefs, they are back where they belong in the top 3. Kansas City +2, going from 5 to 3 this week. They have looked better than any other team across the past 2 weeks, so you got to put them here. Or, I mean, that's not true. There's one team that I think has looked better, and they're at number 1 right now. But I think these top 3 teams have just looked more impressive across the last couple weeks, and for that, they're the top 3. Even though the Chiefs are only 4-3, and they've had some unfortunate things, they are now at full strength with their offense, which they have not been like since they're at a strength that they haven't been at since like the golden days of Tyreek Hill. They have the Legion of Zoom 2.0. Worthy, Rice, and Brown are all on the field at the same time, which last Sunday was the first time they were ever on the same field at the same time. So, yeah, very exciting opportunity for them. The offense is back. The defense is humming, except for the defensive line, because Omer Norman-Lott's now out for the season, unfortunately. So we might have to trade for a pass rusher. But other than that, Chiefs are doing really great. Managed to shut out the Raiders and setting their sights on Washington next week. So for that, they're going to stay. They're going to move up to number 3. The last three teams actually all moved up 2 spots. So the number 2 team is the team that was 4th last week. That would be Indianapolis. I am not officially in yet, and I don't necessarily want to buy the. I think I might be too late to buy the stock if I wait too much more. But honestly, this isn't real stocks. I don't really care. So I'm gonna wait a little bit before I buy into these guys too much. I still don't think they are gonna make the Super Bowl or anything. While Daniel Jones is having a season that I think is pretty solid, and Jonathan Taylor is also looking like the best running back in the league, other than maybe Bijan, but honestly, probably not. It's probably Jonathan Taylor, but they're a team that is complete. They're scoring the most points of any team week in and week out. They're scoring 30 or more. The only other team doing that is Kansas City across the past couple weeks. But yeah, like if you just look at their scores, like 38, 31, 40, only 20 against the Rams. That was a good defense. 41, 29 against the Broncos, and then 33 against Dolphins. So yeah, they've done good. And their best record in the league definitely shows for it. But right now, there is one team that I think is better than them, and that is the one team that has beaten them. The Los Angeles Rams take the number 1 spot in my power rankings for this week. The Rams are looking good. They, again, like I said, I think they have the best receiving duo in the league. Matthew Stafford's doing insane, throwing 5 touchdown passes. Kyren Williams is great as well. Don't really know how their O-line is. And their defense is still doing great. Jared Verse and Byron Young are doing crazy work. Who's on their secondary? Like, who's their secondary stars? I don't even really know. I mean, how many interceptions did they get? They didn't even get a single interception, and yet they still, did that well. Their offense was clicking, and, honestly, other than the Chiefs, I think the Rams have looked more impressive than the Chiefs. Maybe, I think the Chiefs have played. The Lions are better than the Jaguars, but both the Rams and the Chiefs played a pretty easy team in the past 2 weeks. Rams played the Ravens, Chiefs played the Raiders. But, Rams were able to beat the Jaguars pretty handily, which is something that the Chiefs can't do. So for right now, I think Rams are above the Chiefs. Defense is something weird about the Rams defense. I've noticed they have a lot of single-digit players on their defense. Their number 0, 1, 2, 3 are all on defense. Number 8 as well. Interesting. Yeah. Either way, Rams are my current number 1 team. They have had a couple interesting losses, but both of their losses were very close. They lost to the Eagles in a game where they very much could have won, and one of the best games of the year so far. And then they lost to the 49ers in overtime in another game that I think they should have been able to win. So a couple things go right, and this team is 7-0 and unambiguously the best team in the league. So I think right now, Rams take your number 1 spot, and that is your power rankings. So with that, let's get into the predictions. We'll rattle through these quick, and then I gotta go to sleep, man. I'm tired. So, we have how many games in NFL Week 8? We've got... Wait, how many games we got? 6, 12... Only 13 games next week? Is that correct? Yeah, only 13 games next week. Wow, there's 6 teams on a bye. Interesting. I don't know why they split up the buys like that, where they have some teams like off. Maybe it's just like scheduling conflicts, like certain teams need to play certain teams. Thursday Night Football, we got Vikings-Chargers. This is an interesting one. I think I'm going to go with the Chargers here. I think it's realistic that they get a bounce-back win. I don't think they're a bad team. I think even putting them below, like putting them in the bottom half kind of feels wrong in the power rankings. But as of right now, they're not good, but this could be the game that shows that they're still a top half team. So I think they get it. Dolphins-Falcons. This feels like a game that the Falcons could end up losing. But, honestly, the teams that the Falcons have lost to so far have been ones that have proven that they aren't actually that bad. Like the Panthers, like they lost by a bunch to the Panthers, but the Panthers aren't bad. The Dolphins are bad, on the other hand, and I think the Falcons can do what it takes, so I'm picking Falcons here. Bears, Ravens. This all depends on Lamar. If he plays, I'm picking the Ravens. If he doesn't, I'm picking the Bears. I don't know if Lamar is playing, so that's my pick. That's all I got. Sorry for that. But that's all you're going to get from me. Jets, Bengals. I mean, before Joe Flacco, I would have said I think this would be a great game for the Jets to break their streak, because, I mean, if there's any game where Justin Fields can do well, it's against the Bengals defense. I still feel like this could be a game that the Jets could win, but I'm going to pick the Bengals just because I believe in the magic of Flacco, I guess. And somehow I'm picking them to get back up to 500. You better not make the playoffs, Bengals. Come on. Bills, Panthers. Again, this is an interesting one. This could be a trap game for the Bills. They haven't beaten a team as good as the Panthers since week 1. I am still going to pick them, but it might be an interesting one. We'll see. 49ers and Texans. Now, this could be an interesting one. It's going to be about how much the Texans can limit good old McCaffrey. I think I'm going to pick the Texans on this one. I think this is my, upset pick of the week, sort of. I mean, I don't know. I don't trust the 49ers, so I think that's what I'm going to go with. Browns, Patriots. Browns had a good win. Patriots also had a good win. I think Patriots are a better team. I'm picking the Patriots here. Can Judkins run over everybody? Hopefully not. Giants, Eagles are playing again. They just played a couple weeks ago, but they're going to play again, this time at Eagles. I think this one the Eagles will have the advantage. They'll be ready to get revenge. And with such a devastating loss last week, I don't know if the Giants can put it up again, maybe manage to beat the Eagles. I mean, there's a chance, but I still think I'm picking the Eagles here. Buccaneers and Saints. Now, this is one that's like a divisional rivalry. The Buccaneers are coming off an ugly loss. They lost Mike Evans for the year, which is another interesting thing that I barely factored that even into my power rankings. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe they should be below the Seattle Seahawks. But yeah, I think Buccaneers, Saints, this could be one that the Saints could win because it's a divisional game. But I'll go Buccaneers here just because why not? Titans, Colts, I think these two teams have also already played this season. Having a lot of divisional games here, at least in this little section in the 3 o'clock time slot. Titans, Colts. I'll go Colts here. I mean, I don't think Titans really have much of a shot. Cowboys, Broncos. This is an interesting one. Ooh. It's going to be a matter of Cowboys offense versus Broncos defense. Cowboys offense is seeming to be one of the better ones in the league, and Broncos defense is seeming to also be one of the better ones. But you know what? The Broncos gave up 32 points to the Giants. I don't have a lot of faith. And as good as Bo Nix played, as well as he played, I think I'm going to pick... I'm trying to think. The Broncos have beaten some good teams. This is a tough one. I'm gonna pick the Cowboys. No, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think I'm picking the Broncos. I don't see the Cowboys winning this one. I feel like they're going to choke it. Packers Steelers. Ooh, Aaron Rodgers revenge game. Interesting. Micah Parsons about to be attacking Aaron Rodgers behind that O-line. Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, two of the best defensive players in the league. Very interesting one here. I would tend to give the nod to the Packers. I think they're a better team, like, in terms of just pure skill. But I don't know. Steelers. I don't know. Another really hard game to pick, actually. I think Packers are going to win it, though. I think they have the momentum. They're going to come back with a vengeance. They're going to put the tie behind them, basically, and win this one for sure. I mean, not for sure. It'll be a close one, but I think Packers win it. And then finally, Monday night, Commanders and Chiefs. If Jaden Daniels doesn't play, I think this is a pretty easy Chiefs victory, but if he does, it'll be a little closer. I still think the Chiefs have what it takes there. I feel like this kind of gives similar vibes to the Jacksonville game, because it's like a younger quarterback who's like willing his team, and on Monday night, kind of makes me scared, like giving me flashbacks, but like I think the Chiefs are a better team than they were 3 weeks ago. So I think they got it. I think with the return of Rice, the offense is going to keep humming, especially against a Commanders defense that has proven to not be as great, especially not as great as it was last season. So I think Chiefs put up a good number of points, and I don't know if the Commanders can keep up with them even with Jaden Daniels, so picking the Chiefs. So that is it for this episode of Beyond the Stats. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, remember to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.